I believed that I just wasn't very good at maths. And it stemmed back to primary school and me being embarrassed in front of the class by a maths teacher who was really strict. It depends on situation and circumstances, but you generally have an approach to life in general where you believe that you're born with talent or you're not. So either you've got an ability to do something, and if you haven't got it, tough, you're not going to get it. That's a fixed mindset.
Fighters, welcome back to another episode of Heatrick Muay Thai Performance.
So what's been proven to be more successful is a growth mindset in someone who believes that you do have natural talents in things, but that needle can get moved a long, long way by you putting effort into it and practicing it. And you will get better by practicing and practicing and practicing. Whereas someone with a real fixed mindset believes they've either got it or they haven't. And if they haven't got it, don't bother. The difference in the attitude there, and this is massive. I think for certain aspects for me, I believed that talent was fixed. So for example, for me personally, I believed that I just wasn't very good at maths. And it stemmed, I've kind of done lots of thought processes about this, why that was. And it stemmed back to primary school and me being embarrassed in front of the class by a maths teacher who was really strict. And it shut me down in that class. This was, really, really young, basically because I didn't answer my name in the register when she called it out, and she bawled me out about it, and then got me up in front of the class to do some maths on the board. And I just locked up with everyone looking at me, was really embarrassed and shut down. And from that point on, I just believed I was bad at maths. But after that, I actually ended up being a mechanical design engineer and getting an engineering degree with loads of maths and stuff in it. But I would have never have done that if I hadn't had some success in sport and did some things in there that I didn't think I would be able to do. And it suddenly proved to me that, well, actually, if I work hard at something, I can actually change how good I am at it. And actually, there's nothing that I've taken on that I've not got to a level that's been, I guess most people would say above average in. And it's just, I realized it's how much time and effort I put into it. And maths was one of those things when I got my engineering degree was just, okay, I feel like I'm coming from a negative place, but I caught up and I did it all, and I didn't fail at it, and it's like, I didn't think I had talent for that at all. So I absolutely believe, sport, Muay Thai for me was the one that, getting up in front of people and potentially getting knocked out in front of people and overcoming that was another one of those transferable attitudes, if you like, that showed to me that regardless of how good I am next to the opponent I've got, and that's really the crux of how I personally see going into sort of mindset for fighting in specifically here, because we're kind of rolling into it. I always see everything I'm doing is a personal test to see how far I can push myself at this moment. And every time I push myself just a bit beyond my limit to stretch but not snap, it moves my level up. If it's not high enough, it doesn't change me. So I need to kind of overstress myself a bit, but not so far that you get into anxiety and overwhelm and you kind of shut down. There's that like a U-shaped arousal curve where there's like a peak to it, and then you go through it and it's like, I've crashed again. But also, if it's not enough, you're not aroused enough to really perform well either. So fighting, I found, was a really good way to push myself right up to the limit. And sometimes the opponent I had would push me over that limit a bit, but it was really down for me with each opponent that I had to have my next opponent to push me hard enough to make me better, win or lose. They would push my arousal level up to where it needed to be for me to actually either, if I won the fight, brilliant, but I'd be always looking for, right, how could I do things better? What went well, but also what could I do better next time? And I would take that as a rinse and repeat to go out, and that would inform my training between now and my next fight. And my next opponent, I expect to be better than my last one to push me even harder. So I always saw my opponents less as like someone who I was directly competing with and I needed to beat them. It was more about they were the next personal test for me. And they were like, they set the pass criteria for the test, how good they were. And I would see where do I measure next to that? And sometimes I was better and I'd win, and other times I'd fall a bit short, and I'd be like, okay, well, that shows me what I need to go back to and work on, so that next time I go back out, I'm actually doing a better job of this. And it, for me, that took the pressure off of, win or lose. It didn't really matter. It was like, what was the quality of my performance? And am I a better fighter as a result of this fight? Or was it, I mean, I'd had fights that I won, but I fought terribly on them. And I come away from feeling, I was terrible. And everyone's like, but you won. And like, yeah, no, that wasn't good. And then I've had other fights where I lost and I come away just feeling awesome. It was like, that was such a good tear up. And people coming up to you and saying, I love watching you fight, can I buy you a drink, mate? And all this kind of stuff. And you're like, yes. And it was like, I lost, but everyone just loved it. And I loved it being in there. It was such a tough test and didn't get the decision or whatever, but I didn't give up. I kept going and all that kind of stuff. And that for me was the reward.
Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else it could help too. Please give the podcast a review or comment below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you can visit heatrick.com for more Muay Thai performance podcasts, videos, articles, and guides. Catch you next time.